Have you ever seen a house that looks like it holds a secret? A house that watches you as you walk by? That's what people say about Hilda's house. It sits all alone on top of a big grassy hill, with dark windows that look like empty eyes. The paint on the wood is peeling away like old dry skin. The wind always seems to be whispering around its corners, telling stories that nobody can quite understand. Hilda was an old woman who lived there for many, many years. She didn't have many visitors, and she mostly kept to herself, making the house seem even more mysterious and lonely. The house itself is very old. It was built a long time ago, even before your grandparents were born. The roof sags in the middle as if it is tired from holding up so many years of rain and snow. A rickety old fence surrounds the property with a gate that groans loudly whenever the wind pushes it open. Children in the town dare each other to touch the gate, but most are too scared to get that close. They say that once you step onto the property, the air gets colder and you feel a strange sense of being watched from the dark windows above. Inside, the stories say the house is filled with shadows that dance and play tricks on your eyes. The floors creak with every step, not just a normal creak, but a sound like a long, slow sigh. Old furniture is covered in white sheets, making everything look like a room full of ghosts waiting for someone to return. Dust motes float in the thin beams of light that manage to sneak through the dirty glass of the windows. It's a place frozen in time, a place where the past feels more real than the present, waiting silently for its next story to begin. Hilda herself was a part of the mystery. Some people said she was just a quiet old lady who liked her privacy. Others whispered that she knew the house's dark secrets and that she was its keeper. She was rarely seen in town, and when she was, she never said much, her eyes looking far away as if she was seeing something no one else could. When she passed away, she left the house empty, but the stories and the strangeness remained. The house on the hill became not just Hilda's house, but a place of legend in our small town. The first story people tell is about a gardener named Mr. Abernathy. He was hired by Hilda a long time ago to take care of the overgrown yard. He was a cheerful man who always whistled while he worked, and his tunes could be heard all the way down the hill. One sunny afternoon, his whistling just stopped. People didn't think much of it at first. Maybe he went home early, but he never came back. His tools were found near a big old oak tree in the backyard, lying in the grass as if he had just dropped them and walked away. No one ever saw Mr. Abernathy again. His family searched for him for weeks, calling his name through the woods that surrounded the house. The police came and looked everywhere, but they found no clues, no footprints, nothing to explain where he could have gone. It was as if the ground had opened up and swallowed him whole. Some people said he must have just left town, but his wife knew he would never leave without saying goodbye. The strangest part was his hat, which was found hanging from a low branch on the old oak tree, swinging gently in the breeze as if he had placed it there just for a moment. Another story is about a young girl named Lily, who was one of the few friends Hilda ever had. Lily used to visit the house to read books with Hilda. One evening, Lily was walking home from the house, but she never arrived. Her parents grew worried and went to look for her. They followed the path from Hilda's house down the hill, calling her name into the growing darkness. They found one of her red ribbons tied to the squeaky gate at the end of the driveway, but Lily was nowhere to be found. She had simply disappeared into the night. Hilda was heartbroken. She told the police that Lily had left her house happy and well, carrying a book she had borrowed. But after that day, Hilda rarely left her home at all. She locked the gate and let the garden grow wild again. The townspeople started to whisper more, saying the house didn't want Hilda to have any friends. They said the house was jealous and took people away from her. The mystery of what happened to Lily, just like the mystery of Mr. Abernathy, was never solved, becoming another sad, spooky tale told about Hilda's house. What do the local people think happened to these people? Well, if you ask the oldest residents in town, they will tell you it's the work of ghosts. They believe that long before Hilda lived there, a family suffered a great tragedy in the house and their spirits never left. They say these ghosts are lonely, and sometimes they take people to keep them company. They whisper that on quiet nights, if you listen very closely, you can hear faint crying coming from the empty house. Or sometimes the sound of a man whistling a sad, forgotten tune. Others believe in a different kind of story. They talk about a curse. The legend says that the land the house was built on was once sacred, and building a house there made the old spirits of the land angry. The curse, they say, affects anyone who gets too close to the house or tries to change it. It's a curse of disappearance, one that makes people vanish without a trace, leaving behind only a small piece of themselves, like a hat or a ribbon. This is why many people in town warn their children to stay far away from the hill. Then there are those who look for more logical but still strange explanations. They wonder if there are hidden tunnels or secret passages under the house. Maybe Mr. Abernathy and Lily found something they weren't supposed to find and got lost in a hidden part of the property. The ground around the house is uneven, with lots of dips and small hills. Perhaps there are old wells or sinkholes hidden by the tall grass, easy to fall into but impossible to climb out of. This idea is almost as scary as ghosts or curses. But what do you think? Could it really be ghosts who are lonely and want friends? Or is it an ancient curse protecting the land from intruders? Maybe the answer is something more real, like hidden dangers lurking on the old property. Each story seems to point in a different direction, leaving us with more questions than answers. The truth, whatever it may be, is tangled up in the history of that old house, hidden behind its dark windows and silent walls, waiting for someone brave enough to figure it out. The stories of Hilda's house are like a puzzle with missing pieces. We have the edges, the spooky house, the strange disappearances, but the middle is empty. We can try to fit the pieces we have together, like the ghost stories or the theories about hidden tunnels, but none of them seem to complete the picture perfectly. The mystery remains, making the house on the hill a landmark of curiosity in our town. It reminds us that some stories don't have a neat and tidy ending, and maybe that's what makes them so interesting to us. Being curious is a wonderful thing. It's what helps us learn and discover new things about the world around us. It makes us ask questions like, what really happened to the gardener? Or, where did Lily go? This curiosity is what keeps these stories alive, passed down from one person to another. It encourages us to think, to imagine, and to try to solve problems, even if they are spooky mysteries from long ago. The desire to know the truth is a powerful part of being human, and it drives us to explore the unknown. However, it is also important to be careful. While it's fun to think about mysteries, places like Hilda's house can have real dangers. An old falling down building is not a safe place to explore. There could be weak floors, falling objects, or other hazards that we can't see. The stories might not be true, but the dangers of an abandoned place are very real. It is wise to treat such places with respect and caution, exploring them with our minds and our stories rather than with our footsteps. So the next time you hear a spooky story or come across a mystery, let your imagination run wild. Ask questions, think of all the possibilities, and enjoy the thrill of the unknown. But remember to balance your curiosity with a good dose of caution. Some doors are best left unopened, and some mysteries are best enjoyed from a safe distance. The puzzle of Hilda's house may never be solved, and perhaps it is meant to stay that way, a timeless tale that teaches us to be both curious and careful.